So this is our Bronco Raptor mount, and we're going to show you how to install it in this video. Now let's go over what you get in your Raptor mount kit. You get the Raptor mount, of course. This is 3/16 steel, super tough, super rigid, especially with these really long bends. You get 2 of our aluminum billet clamps. These are perfectly molded to your 4-door Bronco roll bar. Screw and spacer. We'll get to this in a bit. And then you have a set of 6 nut, bolt, and washer combos, and that's to attach your bracket to the Raptor mount. We're going to be using this Comp 2 mount to mount a 10-pound power tank. It's dual strap, gives you that extra strength over that rougher terrain, more aggressive driving. Additionally, I'm going to be using our quick release bracket up here, and that will allow me to mount a fire extinguisher in addition to this bracket. Tools you'll need: a T47 Torx bit or Torx wrench, a 5/32 Allen wrench, and a 9/16 open wrench. You also need a tape measure or ruler, blue tape, Loctite, and if you're doing the quick release bracket, you also need a 5/32 Allen wrench and either a flathead screwdriver or a 5/16 nut driver to tighten these hose clamps. First step is we are going to put the super bracket onto the Raptor mount using the 6 included hardware. You want to start with the middle, line up the middle 2 holes, and then that way the outer 4 holes line up with the mount. These holes here in the middle are for a 5-pound bracket. I always forget to mention it, but you also need a 10mm wrench to tighten the latches on your strap. And now's the perfect time to do it while you can put the power tank in it on the table. What I'm going to do is actually take this rubber strip off the bottom, and that will allow me to fit the boot on top of the lip like that. And now I can get my latches adjusted properly. That's way too loose. That feels good. All right, these are nice and tight. They're not gonna come loose on me while I'm on the trail. Okay. So that's ready to go. Now let's get our roll bar clamps ready. This is what the blue tape is for. From this plastic here, where it meets the roll bar, you want to measure 3.5 inches up. So right there. And then you want to mark right below that. Okay. And that's where your first roll bar clamps can go. All right, and here's another use for the blue tape. It's kind of hard to get everything in position and get the bolt through and everything lined up. So what I'll do is I'll take this hardware out. So what I'll do is I'll take a piece of tape that's narrower than those 2 holes. I'm going to fold it into thirds so it's double-sided. Obviously you can use double-sided tape as well. And then this way kind of frees up my hands from having to hold this in place as I'm positioning it. I'm going to do the other one as well. Now I'm going to take one of these two, slide it over the roll bar like so, right against my 3.5 inch line. And then kind of pull it tight, make sure the rubber trim over here is flush against your roll bar. And then I'm going to get the first set of hardware. Now that's in, I know where to place my second roll bar. Half. Of course, you want to leave this all sort of loose until everything's in place. Next, I'm going to take my Torx bit and my screws. So, if you feel up on your roll bar, there's a hole on our bracket and a threaded bung on the roll bar, kind of back there. And so you're going to line those up, and then you're going to take your aluminum spacer and slide it in between the two while you stick your bolt in. And just get it started by hand. And since my other 4 pieces of hardware are in the roll bar on the bottom, I can go ahead and just start tightening this. All right, so all my hardware is in place. Last step I want to do before I tighten it is add a bit of Loctite. I've been using hand tools up until now, but here's where an electric impact really helps. Again, I'm keeping everything loose until everything's in place before I do my final tightening. And I'm also doing kind of the top one a little bit, the bottom one a little bit, so that way, if you look, they're even spacing on both sides. All right, so this is optional, but I'm gonna start doing my quick release bracket and my fire extinguisher. So your quick release bracket comes with 2 sets of hose clamps, a small and a large, and we give you some shrink wrap. So if you wanted to just kind of clean up the look, undo them, slide the shrink wrap on, and you can either leave it like that, or obviously if you use a heat gun or a lighter, you can just make that hose clamp look super clean. All right, so there's a couple different ways you can mount this. Because it's kind of at an angle, I like to put the pin down. And there is the Raptor mount installed. Make sure you double check all your hardware, make sure there's Loctite, and always when you're installing a fire extinguisher, you want to practice with it, make sure it's in a good location, make sure that it's exactly where you want it. So if it was, like this, I'm gonna have to turn it around. And then to access your power tank, easiest way generally is just to go through your passenger door, and I can grab my tank knob and regulator here, plug in my hose.